When did sitting still start to feel like a crime? When did doing nothing become something you had to earn, or apologize for? You finish one task and your hand is already reaching for the next. There is no pause. No exhale. Just the next thing, and the next. And when there is genuinely nothing left to do, when there is no task, no deadline, no one who needs you, you feel something close to dread. Most people would call this ambition. But what you are feeling is not ambition. It is something older, and considerably more complicated. For many people, productivity became safety very early in life. Not a value, a survival strategy. Maybe being useful was the only way to feel accepted in your household. To feel like your presence had value. To avoid criticism or conflict. So your nervous system built a rule, a quiet, automatic one, that stillness is where bad things happen. That stopping means something is wrong. Psychologists call this hyperactivation, a state where your nervous system stays locked in forward motion, treating rest the same way it treats a threat. Your body is always running, even when you are standing still. The engine never fully turns off. And that costs you more than you realize. But there is a second layer to this, and it runs even deeper than the nervous system. It is about identity. At some point, doing stopped being what you do, and became who you are. Your output became your evidence of worth. Rest then starts to feel like erasing yourself. If you are not producing, what are you? If you stop, do you still count? This is the part that is hardest to hear. What looks like discipline and drive is often a wound wearing the costume of a strength. And culture makes this harder to see, because the world tends to celebrate exactly this pattern. Busy gets praised. Rest gets questioned. You get told you are impressive, reliable, someone who gets things done, while quietly, something inside you is falling apart from the effort of never stopping. Research on chronic overactivation, studied extensively in the context of burnout, shows measurable damage, to cortisol regulation, to sleep architecture, to the prefrontal cortex's ability to make decisions. The irony that most people in this pattern eventually discover is this: you get progressively worse at the very thing you refuse to stop doing. Creativity dulls. Judgment narrows. Patience disappears. And still the thought of slowing down feels more frightening than all of that. Here is something worth sitting with. The guilt that arrives when you try to rest, that tight, uncomfortable voice saying you should be doing something, that is not your conscience. It is a conditioned alarm. It was installed by circumstances, by environments, by caregivers, by systems that needed you to keep going. It is not telling you the truth about who you are. Rest is not the opposite of productivity. It is the biological condition for it. The brain consolidates learning, clears metabolic waste, and rebuilds executive function during rest, not during effort. But here is the part people miss: you cannot simply decide to rest and feel fine about it. For someone with this pattern, rest is a skill that has to be practiced, not a state you fall into. Your nervous system does not respond to arguments. It responds to repeated evidence. You have to show it, again and again, that stopping does not lead to collapse. Start by deliberately separating your worth from your output, not as a belief you adopt, but as a question you genuinely investigate. Ask, what would I be, today, if I produced nothing? The discomfort that rises when you sit with that question, that is not weakness. That is the work. That is the thing worth staying with. Practically, start with intentional pauses so small they do not trigger the alarm. 5 minutes with no task and no phone. Not as a reward, as a practice. Notice what comes up when the doing stops. The thoughts, the feelings, the memories. They are data, not emergencies. You do not have to act on them, just observe. Over time, not immediately, not after one weekend, the nervous system accumulates evidence that stillness is survivable. That you still exist when you stop performing. This is the thing no one told you early enough: you are allowed to exist without justifying your existence. Your presence does not require a product attached to it. The people who genuinely love you do not love your output. They love something that exists regardless of what you produce. And somewhere, underneath the motion, so do you. You are not a machine running low on fuel. You are a person who learned, under real pressure, that stopping was not safe. That lesson made sense then. It may not serve you now. Slowing down is not giving up. It is not falling behind. It is, for the first time in a long time, finally listening to what your body has been trying to tell you. Your worth was never something you had to produce. It was always already there, waiting for you to stop long enough to notice it.